Good evening. Welcome to the Bellevue City Council meeting. It is Tuesday, March 4th, 2025 at 6 p.m. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance, and our pastor did not make it, so I'm going to have to say your own little prayer to yourself. So, unless, please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Bless you all.
There you go. Okay, we'll go to item 3, call to order. Susan, would you take roll call, please?
Yes. Councilwoman Welch.
Here.
Councilman Preister.
Here.
Councilman Casey.
Here.
Councilman Burns.
Here.
Councilwoman Collins.
Here.
And Councilman McCaw.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 4, this meeting will be conducted in accordance with the Nebraska Open Meetings Act. A copy of that act is located on the rear wall of the council chambers. Item 5, approval of agenda, consent agenda, claims and advisory committee reports. 5A, approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion? Councilman Burns.
I move we approve the agenda. Second.
Motion by Burns, second by McCaw. Any comments or questions? Please vote.
Councilman Preister, is yours come through?
Yes.
Mine is spinning as well, Susan.
Yours is on here. Just. Okay. All voting yes, motion carries.
Thank you. Item 5B, approval of the consent agenda. Items marked with an asterisk are approved where this item is unless otherwise removed. Do I have a motion? Councilman Preister.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion by Preister, seconded by Burns. Any comments or questions? Please vote.
I just refreshed and I also am not getting it.
Okay.
Makes you feel better. I got it twice. He got mine. I vote yes.
Okay. Councilwoman Welch.
My apologies. Thank you.
Okay. All voting yes, motion carries.
Thank you. Item 6, approval of the claims. Do I have a motion? Councilman Casey.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll make motion to approve the claims.
Second.
Motion by Casey, seconded by Preister. Any comments or questions? Please vote. We'll blame it on the wind.
Hit that and let me just make sure it goes through. Go ahead and hit here.
All voting yes, motion carries.
Thank you. Item 7 is special presentations, and we have 4 presentations this evening. Start with 7A. We have the Opioid Fund Crisis Response Program. And is Emily here with Heartland Family? Yep. The microphone's all yours.
Might want to turn it on.
Turn it on. Hit the base of it right behind. Thanks, Chief.
Thank you. Okay. Well, good evening, everyone. I hope that we can stay warm for the rest of the day today and tomorrow. My name is Emily Boardman. I am the Director of Community-Based Crisis Services at Heartland Family Service. So that means I oversee our ASAP Crisis Response Program in Sarpy County and Cass County, and then I also oversee our Iowa Mental Health Crisis Response Team in our 9 counties that we serve in Southwest Iowa. We are here, I'm here with Brenton Donaldson. He's our ASAP case manager today, just to share a little bit about our ASAP case management program in related to our request for funding through the opioid funding with Sarpy County Law Enforcement. So just to give a quick overview / historical context of our ASAP program, we work with individuals who come in contact with our local law enforcement agencies who are in mental health crises. That could be whether they are feeling suicidal, if they're under the influence of any substances, if they are experiencing things like being unhoused or are not connected to the basic resources that they need to survive, then they call us in and we help them find a way to keep them as safe as possible in the upcoming days. So our case manager was born because our law enforcement agencies themselves identified that there was a gap in services among people who were exiting crisis. They were coming back continually in crisis, so they thought we need a case manager to help them meet their needs after they are in crisis. So we have our case manager here. The position started last April/May. From April to May, our case manager had about 30 people on her caseload, and then Brenton came on in October. We started tracking our referrals a little bit more closely in January. Since January of this year, we have had about 25 to 27 referrals, which is way ahead of where we were last year. So I'm anticipating those numbers to continue to grow. It just shows how needed this service is in our community. I'm gonna go ahead and let Brenton talk just a little bit about what he does. And we also have some handouts that show some of the top needs in our community from the referrals that we're receiving. So do you want me to hand those out while you talk? Okay, there you go.
Good evening, everyone. Again, Britton Donaldson, case manager for ASAP. Very happy to be able to help people. That's really what we are trying to do, is help people when they are at their lowest, because sometimes people don't see the next day, they can't see the next minute. And that's really what we want to do. What I try to do is give people the tools necessary that they need in order to be successful. So if you have a nail that needs to be hammered, my job is to get you a hammer. Now, sometimes you know how to use a hammer, sometimes you don't. So I will step in when we have cases where they do not know how to apply for Medicaid or how to apply for housing or have the direction. They're lost. So it's my job to kind of keep them grounded and help them get to that next level, not only to get out of their current situation, but to continue to better themselves after that situation. I don't just say, oh, you need housing? Let's apply for housing. Okay, good day. No, it's let me help you with housing. Let me help you with therapy. How is therapy going? Have you found a therapist? Is it not working? Let's continue to look for a different therapist. Let's continue to look for different housing. Let's continue with this Medicaid application, SNAP benefits, whatever it is. It's my job and responsibility and my desire to get them where they need to go and continue to monitor them and help them succeed in whatever direction they're trying to go past that moment.
If you wanted to take a look at that last page of that handout that got passed out, you'll see some quotes. So our referral sources have the opportunity to share at the end of their referral what exactly the client is needing. So those are from word for word from our referrals. So it just kind of gives a good idea of what those needs in our community are looking like of the people that we're serving. So thank you for giving us some time today. I really appreciate it. We love what we do, who we do it for, and who we do it with. So we really appreciate your time.
We appreciate everything you do for the community too.
Absolutely.
We need it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks. All right, item 7. Thank you. Item 7B, presentation from Omaha Bryan. And I should have confirmed this before. They're with the FFA. Is that Future Farmers of America?
It used to be known as Future Farmers of America, if you're familiar with the FFA organization, but they actually, little misnomer for people, they actually took out the FFA or the Future Farmers of America in the 80s because they wanted to make it more inclusive for students like ours that aren't farmers. So FFA is just FFA, and that's all it is. So since they got rid of that. So
Just showing my age.
it's okay. No, it's fine. So my name is Taylor Wilton Cooper. I am one of the ag teachers at Omaha Bryan. Today with me, I have three gentlemen. They're all seniors, and they are working on a project for our organization. It's their agricultural issues forum. As a part of FFA, they can compete in this competition at our state conference in April, and to be accepted into that state conference, they have to complete certain number of forums. So they have to complete 5 forum events where they go and present to different groups of people in the community about an issue in agriculture. One of our students completed this last year, and one of the feedbacks was they wanted him to go to more have more forums with people that can make a difference. So that's why we kind of reached out to you guys to with their topic this year. So I'm going to let them introduce and kind of go into their presentation and talk about their issue. And then if there is any questions at the end of it, if anybody has questions or anything for that, please feel free to ask them. They're the experts.
Emily, when you guys get done, could I have you just sign in?
Yes, I will.
That's what I was gonna say. I missed the last 2.
Other Emily. I knew that too.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Brian Lara Camacho. Right here to me is Sergio Vélez, and right here to me is Albert Rodriguez Nunez. And we are representatives of the Omaha FFA chapter. And today, we are pleased to provide information regarding urban expansion, including its advantages and disadvantages. Let's begin. Urban expansion occurs due to population growth, which leads us to increased housing and use of land. It refers to the physical spread of cities into surrounding areas, often in fragmented patterns.
It's no doubt with growing population, we will have an increase with urban sprawl. Although expanding cities can have many pros to it, it can also have many cons to it as well on different communities. According to JS, an editor at PNS, it's shown that global croplands and yields are reported to decrease 1.8% to 2.4% in just 5 years. Although this may not seem just as much percentage, it also adds up over time as our population growth increases. This causes an issue of food insecurity in many countries and areas around the world, and according to the Food Bank of Heartland, 25% of Nebraskans face food insecurity here in Omaha. Many marginalized communities are also affected in our communities, especially low-income families that are affected by the issue of urban expansion. This happens because cities expand to create more room for infrastructure property, and the value of the property increases, causes gentrification to occur as cities get more expensive. This leads to displacements of many of these families to be affected by this issue, and this can also lead to many other marginalized communities, like the indigenous immigrant communities, and others that are not mentioned. Which there's other also issues that overlapped with this issue, like food deserts, not being able to afford health care, or getting the nice, like access to fresh fruits and vegetables, and other necessities. With the issue of marginalized communities, there's also farmers that are being affected. Urban expansion impacts many farmers due to loss of agricultural land to grow their crops. Many farmers aren't able to keep up their farms going with farming equipment being expensive, and as the economy gets more inflated, they're not able to afford these equipment, and especially after some time, they usually sell their land to companies or private-owned businesses because they aren't able to give down their land to people who are willing to take that job or roll on for them. Not only do people are impacted by this issue, but the environment as well. Habitat destruction and pollution are most prominent in this issue. Expansion leads to natural areas, forests, wetlands, and disruption of coastlines, and increases endangered species in the areas, and reduces biodiversity, which is important to have in healthy ecosystems, providing much of we humans use, like clean air, water, medicines, or any other materials we might get from the natural area. As the world changes constantly, evolving human lifestyle, it's important to understand that we want to achieve an outcome of sustainability and be able to use it effectively and efficiently, and not try to get rid of the expansion, like urban cities. That's not what we're trying to do. Our outcome and our goal is to try to make expansion just more sustainable, and where we're able to co-live with the animals and be able to use our cities efficiently and effectively. We also have legislation. Legislation plays a huge role in our area in managing urban expansion. With to ensure sustainable growth and social equity and environmental protection, various laws and regulations govern how cities expand and how land is used and resources are allocated. These laws can vary significantly from city to city or country to country. Environmental regulations are imposed by states to protect or manage water quality, natural resources, and some of these laws impose cost requirements on farmers specifically. For example, regulations on nitrogen fertilizers use or the water management can be burdensome on many of these farmers, especially if it leads to increased cost or the effectiveness of their productivity of their how much cropland they can produce. Many government policies actions try to acquire land ownership of these farms, and so they try to use it for urban infrastructure like housing, like I was mentioning earlier, or other facilities like schools, buildings, whatever it may be. And so many of these farmers are usually forced and relinquish their land just because they see many cons to it.
Now, a question that might be running through you guys' head is, what causes urban expansion? And if you were thinking about that, good question, because these are the three biggest causes to urban expansion. Number one is overpopulation. As populations increase and individuals migrate from rural areas to urban centers in a pursuit of a more enhanced opportunities like the city. Our second cause is economic opportunities. Cities offer more employment opportunities, making individuals to relocate for professional reasons. Therefore, it causes the city to grow. Lastly, our better infrastructure. When cities improve their development of roadways, housing, and essential services such as water supply, electricity, they facilitate a higher quality of living for residents, which promotes urban expansion.
Some pros to urbanization are community gardens, which are available to the public. For example, Lartson Garden, about 20-30 minute drive from here. It offers a change of scenery to the people of Omaha, especially to those in tight, compact spaces where there aren't a lot of green options around them. Also, urban expansion offers new career opportunities for people. It creates new jobs, which can help decrease rates of homelessness as well as poverty rates. As well as with population, the population will end up growing with the new benefits coming from urbanization. It gives us more land to work with for the future. Although urbanization has some great benefits, it does come with its fair share of troubles. For starters, we lose farmland to these urban areas, so we lose access to farmland where we could grow carrots, vegetables, all this different type of vegetation. Along with losing the farmland, we also take away the home of thousands of animals, which rely on nature to survive. Urbanization also leads to an increase in population, which can be a good and a bad thing. It helps the economy in an urban area. However, the increase in population does lead to an increase in soil, water, air, and radioactive pollution. Some solutions to this are green infrastructure. So, for example, Hanscom Park is a good example because it is a man-made park built in an urban part of Omaha. It offers open fields, trees, and even a small lake for the people around Omaha to come and visit, to also give them a little break from these buildings, these roads, and everything that can be enjoyed due to urbanization. Another example is the Vinton Street Green Infrastructure Project, which was designed to control the flow of stormwater that would go into the existing power system.
Now, to summarize everything we've stated so far, while urban expansion continues to influence the development of cities, it is important to prioritize sustainable development, ensuring the quality of life without any overwhelming infrastructure. What are some questions we can answer for you today?
Councilman Preister.
Speaking your language, aren't they? Thank you, Mayor. Yes. Thank you for your presentation. You do your school and yourselves very well. You spoke well, you did your homework and your research, and I appreciate that. I'll start with Albert, and if any of you want to, tell me your motivation. What causes you to think this is so important?
My motivation was just, I guess, like the environment. One of my favorite classes is natural resources that I took my junior year, and I wasn't able to take it this year again. The follow-up class was this natural management, but I just really fell in love with the environment, and so I think it was really important for me to just find an issue revolving around that. And so I found urban expansion, and as the cities get bigger and as things, population growth increases also, I also want to be able to, I guess, make it more sustainable in a way that we're able to just use our area more efficiently, and not also cause, I guess, harm to the natural environment, but also maintaining our current areas in the cities, like adding green infrastructure. So I think that's my main cause, just my love for ag and just natural resources.
Good answer. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
So my motivation for this stems from my mother. So she came to America from El Salvador around the late 90s, early 2000s. And when she was over there, she really enjoyed agriculture. She lived on a farm with her parents. So her love transferred over to me, which gives me a little bit of a passion for agriculture. I remember coming into high school not knowing what I wanted to do, but when I found out we offered ag classes, it really sparked my interest again. And I want to help the community in a way where it'll impact it for the future.
Thank you.
Now, for me, I'd like to give an appreciation to Don over here. Thank you for the lovely compliment. The three of us have been working really hard to dedicate this issue. But my motives, I'd like to give all the credit to Albert. When he came up to me with this issue, and I sat in my room one night and I just started to reflect. I'd like to use this big example. He gave me an example of Walmart parking lots being pretty big. So I just began to reflect in my room, what could we do with that kind of space instead of making it just an empty space? And from then on there, we just wanted to research all about it, and I'm happy to make it as far as right here.
Thank you. Very good answers from all three of you, and I appreciate them.
Councilman Casey.
Just a couple comments. In my home school, my hometown, my high school, future farmers of America were really farmers. You guys don't look like farmers. So thanks for the clarification on what FFA is. Secondly, in the Albert. I hate you that you have a beard and I don't, and you're, 16 years old. Have you guys done this presentation, or do you do this presentation for other city councils, other civic organizations?
So this would be our second forum. We're gonna do more like board meetings and like other organizations. Like Farm Credit is our next one, which will be on Thursday. And so we're just kind of mainly aiming for groups that are able to make change or are either directly impacted by the issue.
Okay, great. Great job.
Anybody else? Absolutely fantastic job. You guys did a great job and spoke very well. Where is that garden, the community garden you were talking about?
Larton Garden?
Nope, the other one that people could go to visit the space.
Hanscom Park?
Is it Hanscom Park?
Yeah, it's close to the highway that leads to Iowa. 32nd and Martha.
32nd Martha. All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And while you're here, we can, I don't know where Phil went, but maybe get a picture so you have a record of you being here too.
Yeah.
He took a bunch of pictures.
Okay, and there he is.
Do you have enough pictures,
Maybe
Phil,
get
or
a-
you want to take a group picture?
I got pictures of all of them, but if you guys want to stand with
Yeah, we can jump up and take a group picture. That's fine.
Or they can even stand here, but if we want to go around, that way they've got a record.
Sure.
you guys just want to stand up there, then we stand around you.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Are you going? You want to get in there? I'll take
No, I'll get a picture. I don't need it.
I'm gonna go.
It's their stuff, not my stuff.
Okay. All right. You ready to go? Okay, here we go. Look at me. You can go. Okay. Awesome, and I'll let you take one if you want one.
No,
Okay.
I got one.
Okay.
They're great.
Thank you, guys. Can I go?
I figured they were speaking your language.
They were.
Beaming like a proud dad.
Ah, indeed.
Oh, I guess Lisa is back there. All right. I was looking for you. 7C, we have Gross RP update, and Lisa Sheeby, Executive Director with Gross RP, is here. And Susan, did you get everybody's signature?
Shirley's gonna have
Okay.
email to us.
All right, thanks.
So Harrison said I needed to make it snappy, so I will do my best. I know he was referring to my presentation, but as I was noting to City Councilman Welch, my umbrella snapped on my way in here, so it is getting fun outside. So with that, a couple things I wanted to share with you this evening. I'm Lisa Sheave, I'm with Grow Sarpy. Our organization focuses on industrial development for Sarpy County. So maybe not quite in line with what the gentlemen were presenting on. We do look to urban expansion as it relates to Sarpy County, but I think they did a tremendous job, and they do a great job. Bryan High School does a great job with their ag program. It's the largest ag program, I don't know if you're familiar with that, it's the largest ag program in the state of Nebraska, so they do a great job. Some things I wanted to focus on this evening with you is we keep an eye on the legislature as it relates to economic development. Economic development programs are always on the docket for elimination, modification, changes, and so we continue to monitor the legislation to see what's going on or what's taking place. Obviously, a number of things have been suggested or talked about as possible things to take place this legislative session, whether that be eliminating or not funding things like site and building development fund, things as it relates to housing, customized job training, other pieces that they've been suggested to sunset with our tax incentive programs. We take that very seriously. Those are programs that we need to help move economic development forward, not just in Bellevue, but also in Sarpy and across the state. So from time to time, we may call upon you to help advocate for those specific programs, as we have used them in a variety of different capacities here in Sarpy. I did submit a number of reports to you. There's 12 pages of reports. I'm not going to go through them line item by line item. I'll just try to give you some highlights and keep it snappy as we referenced earlier. One thing that I talked about the last time I was here was our construction program. In the fall, we took out 1,200 construction kids to the trades. programs in our various school districts across Sarpy County, and that's been a really big success for us over the last 4 years. We received such generous support from our investor base this year that we decided to find a way to expand it into the second semester. And so for the first time, we're going to be launching our Trades Day in April. So far, each of our school districts have signed on to participate, close to 12 to 14 participants per class at those different school districts. So I think we'll have an estimated around 100 different participants this fall, but they'll be working with different construction organizations with hands-on experiences about different career opportunities that are going to take place there. So we're looking forward to holding that, seeing how that goes. When I was here the last time, I had said, we're trying to find different industries that we could try to expand upon, whether that be healthcare or maybe some other areas. So piloting these programs has definitely been very beneficial for us and helping be able to connect education with industry. So look forward to more updates on that as I come back each quarter to share some information with you. You have a copy of some of our reports, our building reports over 2024 were up over 2023. So I don't think we're going to see the same amount of building report activity in the housing sector that we did in the early 2000s. I don't think we're ever going to be able to match that pace that we experienced, but I think we're going to continue to see healthy building permits. We can't go back to those same numbers. We can't sustain what we had in the early 2000s, but building permit numbers continue to grow and stay healthy. And so I think that's a good trend for us to be able to keep monitoring. Last year, we visited 74 businesses within Sarpy County and had great conversations about what was going on, what was taking place. A couple of key takeaways from that were everyone that we talked to last year said that they didn't plan on decreasing the amount of workforce they had. I think that's a promising sign. All of them said that they were looking at, I shouldn't say all of them, the majority of them were looking at increasing their employment over the next couple of years. I think that's a good keynote to show that they're forecasting for more production, more capacity, so that relies to a healthy economy within our manufacturing community in the different sectors. So I think that's an important piece to take away. We have a healthy project pipeline. We didn't land any projects this year. Part of that is because we decided we didn't want to take credit for other people's work. As you know, there's been 3 different directors standing up before you, and I wanted to be able to stand next to a project and say that our team really worked on it. And so hopefully this next year you'll see some more landed projects, but I wanted to take a moment to note that why you see that big fat 0 on that project report is that we didn't want to take credit for other people's work. We wanted to be able to showcase the work that our team is currently doing. Community engagement, we've worked really hard to try to be more visible within Bellevue as well as our other communities that we represent. And last but not least, we are celebrating 50 years. Our organization started in 1975, and we've seen a lot of change over the last 50 years. So bear with me as we go on the Era Tour this year. It's my play at Taylor Swift, trying to stay pop culture relevant. So throughout the year, we will try to share some anecdotes of things that took place or what happened throughout the last 50 years. So with that, I'd open it up to any questions.
Packed a lot in there.
Try to.
Good job, Harrison. Keeping her on track.
Yeah.
Councilwoman Welch.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Lisa, a great presentation. How are we doing on labor? Do we still have a labor shortage that you're seeing, or what are you hearing out there?
So what we're finding more often than not is that people are able to find the employees that they need, but there are barriers to retaining that employee. And some of that falls outside of the job environment. For example, a lot of our school districts have in-service days built into their days of the week. So if you're constantly having your children at a younger age be out of school on Wednesday afternoons, for example, that might be a barrier for you to be coming in consistently. So we've seen a lot of employers need to try to make some shifts in their shifts. And so they're having to look at making some of those adjustments so that they can retain the workforce that they have. Another barrier is consistent or reliable transportation. And so we've seen a number of employers try to look at carpooling, whether that be working with some of the different car rental programs. They have some carpooling programs available, whether that be working on trying to expand the public transit system and what that looks like. So people are able to find predominantly the workforce that they need. It's retaining them that we've seen a bit of a challenge.
Okay, so are you able, I mean, I think I saw our unemployment numbers are very low.
It's always been for the last couple of years below 3%, and we're still below 3%.
Okay, and then you did say that there was the opportunities that were on there that you didn't want to take credit for those. Did those 5 that come in land somewhere in Sarpy County?
So those specific, the report she's referring to is our progress report. And so on there, we referenced that there were maybe a couple different site visits that came into the area, or we showcased a couple of different sites in a project to that particular area. I can't say that those specific ones landed within Sarpy County, but we have seen activity elsewhere, but just not necessarily ones that we have directly worked on.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
Councilman Preister.
Thank you, Mayor. I noticed in the numbers that you gave us that Springfield back in October apparently blew everybody out of the water. What was the big project there?
Can you tell me specifically which number that was referencing?
It's like 450 million or something.
Yes.
Okay, so that's the permits, the plotted permits. Building permits, sorry. There were 12 pages, so I just wanted to make sure that I was referencing the correct.
It was all in the fourth quarter too, for the most part.
Yep. Yeah. So I believe that had to do with, I would need to go back and look before I inaccurately speak.
It's okay. For a small community,
it was a large
seemed
number.
Immense.
I think it probably had to do with some of the employers along Highway 50.
Thank you. Good presentation. Very snappy.
I try.
Any other
what
questions for Lisa? All right, thanks.
Can't promise that's going to happen.
And did you sign in?
Oh, do I need to sign in? I never know if I'm on the agenda, if I need to do that or not. So if you need to keep going, just keep going and I'll just sign.
Yeah, give you a second.
Do you want an employer address?
That's fine.
Okay.
So the next group, if you want to get ready, is 7D, presentation of the 2024 Tree Board Report.
And she will introduce herself, but we have Nancy Scott, who is on the tree board, and Deb Warachek, who Deborah is also on the tree board. So 2 of the members braved the conditions like we did tonight.
Hello, my name is Nancy Scott, as he said, and I'm representing the tree board. And we have done a lot, and I wanted to make sure that just reading this list of stuff that you actually get to see. So I did pull the photos that we took while we were working. So I gotta make sure okay. So the Bellevue Tree Board volunteers have performed, not supposed to see that yet, have performed many and varied services to increase and enhance our community trees for improved quality of life, including we celebrated Arbor Day at Birchcrest Elementary and Mission Middle Schools this year with ceremonies of Mayor's Proclamation, and the kids recited a tree pledge, and 1 tree was planted at each school, and the kids helped plant them. We recertified our Bellevue Tree Board, recertified by the Arbor Day Foundation as a Tree City, Bellevue, USA for the 13th year. And because of all the stuff we did, we earned the Growth Award. We responded to council, administration, and citizen requests for tree inspection and advised them. We advised on yearly tree inventory report that we give to the Parks Department. Those trees that are needed to be removed and whether or not work needs to be done on those trees. We continued the Bellevue's Emerald Ash Borer Response Plan, the EAB plan. EAB plan's status is we have 179 ash trees that have been inventoried. And with the last tree inventory, there were 105 remaining ash trees in our city parks and city land. that are being monitored, and EAB has now been identified in Bellevue. We completed Veterans Image tree carving, which joined the firefighter and police carvings on ash trees in Washington Park, and collaborated with UNL County Extension Office was certified arborist, alerting citizens to EAB updates and misinformation. We have volunteers attended the Veterans Home Rain Garden and other gardens with weeding, pruning, and care. We continued hazardous tree response in conjunction with the park staff. Inventory assessment of trees is an ongoing process, and this year's number of total trees on the city property is 3,126 trees and includes ongoing annexations of the city. 2 trees were planted on Arbor Day and 6 trees at the Eastern Nebraska Veterans Home for a total of 8 trees planted in 2024. And the reason it was so few is because of the drought conditions that we've been experiencing. 8 trees were planted with Green Bellevue and other grants of 1,500. All trees are now inventoried in a program that's called Tree Plotter that is operated by the State Forestry Department. Park staff were provided access to the program. This year, Bellevue purchased their own program and transferred all the inventory that we'd had in the past data into the new Tree Plotter for the park staff. And we updated the city inventory with newly collected data, then provided those copies to Jim Shade, the parks superintendent. We conducted 10, this is our tree board here. Conducted 10 tree board planning meetings with minutes to the city that were sent to the city clerk, inspected and summarized dying and dangerous trees for Code E. We participated in tree workshops, conferences, and continuing education about trees with members paying their own expenses. The tree board's certified arborists conducted tree inspections for the city staff. Tree board volunteers pruned and mulched trees at Falkland, Aspen, Gilder, Heroes, Thompson, and Bellevue West. We collaborated with Fontenelle Forest, Game and Parks, and Nebraska Forest Service staff and on area-wide oak forest revitalization, including Jewel Park. We consulted on removal of diseased trees in the cemetery and other locations. We partnered with the library staff, supporting their efforts with books and children's programs, plus maintained their butterfly gardens and conducted a pollinator program with a plant giveaway. We planted pollinator plants paid for with a $500 grant from PATH, and created and maintained pollinator gardens at the Depot, Whispering Timbers, plus planted native plants at the Rain Garden by Culver's in partnership with Milkweed Matters, Green Bellevue, and Bellevue Native Plant Society. We cared for the bioretention garden at Mason Park, purchased by a $20,000 grant from Nebraska Statewide Arboretum and others in the last 3 years, and continued caring for and coordinating with the librarian at Two Springs Elementary School on the school's pollinator garden. Our mulch was donated by tree board member Rob Clatterbuck Tree Service with a value of about $3,500, and we encouraged Bellevue University to become a Tree City USA. So far, they haven't done that. We continued restoration of the rain garden on 36th at the trailhead, and remained available to the mayor and council for projects, advice, and recommendations. We continue to label new trees, and with more added this year. The total trees planted was 1,184, plus the 8 trees that were planted on city property by volunteers and grants in 15 years, for a new total of 1,192 trees. Education on tree care and trees has been put on Bellevue 411 and BTV. President and vice president and secretary were elected by elected to the board, and we cared for the pollinator beds at the Sarpy County Museum that included trees and shrubs, conducted an educational display at Earth Day, Bellevue, Omaha, and Bellevue, and we weeded flower beds at the 9/11 site, Triangle, and other city locations, and help with updating. This is really big. I hope you all go by Everett Park. We help with the updating and revitalizing of the flower beds at Everett Park over by the little splash pad. And we did weekly farmers market education and tree as well as pollinator plant giveaway every week. That was a total of 549 hours of service performed at $35 an hour for 1,900. 19,000, I'll get my numbers right, $19,215, a total of 2,764 miles were driven by volunteers at 58 cents. Okay, so $1,603, and I'm not sure if the total grant funds received and spent was $5,500, and a total of, for 2024 financial contributions to Bellevue was $26,318. The total of the previous 13 years contributions is $519,726 for a cumulative 14 years of $546,044, with the cumulative total contributions to city trees and community well-being priceless.
Well, thank you, Nancy. That was very efficient report. And I just personally want to thank Nancy, Deb, Don, the whole tree board for doing what they do. There's a lot of people that live in this city just because of our trees, and you do great work.
You notice he was in a lot of pictures?
That's because he's everywhere.
Yes, he did a lot.
Nancy takes the pictures.
Oh, yes. Nancy's behind the camera.
I would like to say, too, my special appreciation to the tree board. In effect, the city would have one full-time staff employee in comparison to all of the different volunteers and the different projects. So it's a great contribution to the city and to the future. Planting these trees is for the future, and we do it, and we hope to do more. We hope to be able to do it when there isn't so much drought. We can't control the weather, but hopefully we can get some of these grants to pay for watering after the fact, because we want to contribute far more trees than we've been able to. And we want to get over in Banner Park a program established and planting of 50 trees for our fallen heroes, both the police and fire and our military from Nebraska who've passed away, and label all those trees with the name of each one of those people and have it all on the internet with a QR code, so as people come and visit, they can identify and pay respects to that fallen hero. So as soon as Banner Park gets turned back over to the city, we hope to have that done too. But thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Deborah. Thank you, all tree board. Thank you, Mayor, for issuing the proclamations each year. And we got another one coming up in April.
Good. Glad to do it. Thank you. All right, it's the longest it's taken me to get to item 8. Organizational matters, we have none. Item 9, approved citizen communication. We did not receive any request. Item 10, liquor licenses. 10A, recommend approval to the Nebraska Liquor Control Commission, an amendment application for Araceli Hernandez as manager for Aldi Inc., doing business as Aldi 40, located at 2112 Cornhusker Road, Bellevue, Nebraska, 68123. And I will open up 10A for public hearing. Is there anyone here wanting to speak? And is the applicant here? Okay. If you have any questions, he's here. Anybody wanting to speak regarding 10A, please come forward. Seeing nobody, I will close the public hearing, and do I have a motion? Councilman Casey.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll make a motion to recommend approval to the Nebraska Liquor Control Commission, an amendment application for Araceli Hernandez as manager of Aldi Inc., doing business as Aldi 40, located at 2112 Cornhusker Road, Bellevue, Nebraska, 68123.
Second.
Motion by Casey, seconded by Preister. Are there any questions or comments? Please vote.
All voting yes, motion carries.
Thank you. You're good. Thank you. Item 11, ordinances for adoption, third reading. 11A, ordinance number 4176, request to rezone lots 1 through 6 and outlots A and B, Quail Crossing, being a replat of Lot 1, Catherine Addition, and part of the northeast quarter of the southwest quarter north of the road, all located in the southwest quarter of Section 32, Township 14 North, Range 13 east of the 6th PM, Sarpy County, Nebraska, from AG and RE to BG and RG 20 PS for the purpose of commercial and multi-residential development. Applicant Quail Crossing LLC, general location South 42nd Street and Highway 370. Susan, would you read that ordinance, please?
Ordinance number 4176, an ordinance to amend the official zoning map of the city of Bellevue, Nebraska, as provided for by Article 3 of ordinance number 4136 by changing the zone classification of land located at or about South 42nd Street and Highway 370, more particularly described in Section 1 of the ordinance, and to provide an effective date.
Thank you, and do I have a motion? Councilwoman Welch.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll make a motion to approve ordinance number 4176 as read.
Second.
Motion by Welch, second by Collins. Any comments or questions? Please vote.
All voting yes, motion carries.
Thank you. And 11A1, request to preliminary plat lots 1 through 6 and outlots A and B, Quail Crossing. Do I have a motion? Councilwoman Welch.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll make a motion to approve item 11A1.
Second.
Motion by Welch, second by Collins. Any comments or questions? Please vote.
All voting yes, motion carries.
Thank you, and you're good to go. And thank you for your investment in our urban growth, like we talked about.
Thank you.
Item 12, ordinances for public hearing, second reading. 12A, ordinance number 4178, an ordinance to vacate all the right-of-way within limits of Lot 7, Tregarin Center, a platted and recorded addition to Sarpy County, Nebraska. And staff's requesting the third reading be waived and to vote after the public hearing tonight. Susan, would you read that ordinance, please?
Ordinance number 4178, an ordinance declaring the necessity, expediency, and propriety of vacating a portion of Lot 7, Tregarin Town Center right-of-way, a calculated area of 17,067.51 square feet, or 0.392 acres more or less, adjoining a portion of Lot 7, Tregarin Town Center, an addition as surveyed, platted, and recorded in Sarpy County, Nebraska, not heretofore vacated, repealing all ordinances and all parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, and designating an effective date.
Thank you. And do I have a motion to suspend? Councilman Casey?
Thank you, Mayor. I'll make a motion to suspend the rules and hold the public hearing tonight on ordinance 4178 and vote after the public hearing.
I'll second that.
Motion by Casey, second by Welch. Are there any questions or comments on that? Okay, please vote.
All voting for, motion carries.
Thank you, and I'll open the public hearing for 12A. Is there anyone in the audience wanting to speak regarding 12A? Please come forward. Anyone for 12A, please come forward. Seeing nobody, I will close the public hearing, and do I have a motion to approve? Councilwoman Welch.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll make a motion to approve ordinance number 4178.
Second.
Motion by Welch, second by Collins. Any comments or questions? Please vote.
All voting yes, motion carries.
Thank you. Item 13, ordinances for introduction, first reading. 13A, ordinance number 4179, request to rezone lots 1 through 5, Bellevue Entertainment District, being a platting of tax lots 20, 21, except for the right-of-way, and 22, all located in the northeast quarter of Section 22, Township 13 North, Range 13 east of the 6 p.m., Sarpy County, Nebraska, from AG to MU for the purpose of mixed-use entertainment district. Applicant, City of Bellevue, general location, northwest corner of Highway 75 and Hidden Valley Drive. Susan, would you read that ordinance, please?
Ordinance number 4179, an ordinance to amend the official zoning map of the City of Bellevue, Nebraska, as provided for by Article 3 of Ordinance number 4136, by changing the zone classification of land located at or about the northwest corner of Highway 75 and Hidden Valley Drive, more particularly described in Section 1 of the ordinance, and to provide an effective date.
Thank you. The second reading and public hearing will be March 18th, 2025, 6 p.m. here in the council chambers. Item 13B, ordinance number 4180, an ordinance to amend the 2021 Uniform Plumbing Code. And staff also requests the 3 readings be waived, hold a public hearing at tonight's meeting, and tonight after the public hearing. Susan, would you read that ordinance, please?
Ordinance number 4180, an ordinance to amend sections 27-87 of Chapter 27 of the Bellevue City Code pertaining to changes and amendments to the Uniform Plumbing Code 2021 edition, to repeal Section 27-87 of Chapter 27 of the Bellevue City Code as heretofore existing, to provide for the publication of this ordinance by pamphlet form, and to provide for the effective date of this ordinance.
Thank you. And do I have a motion to suspend rules? Councilman Casey?
Thanks, Mayor. I'll make motion to suspend the rules, hold a public hearing tonight on ordinance 4180, and vote after the public hearing.
Second.
Motion by Casey, second by McCaw. Any comments or questions? Please vote.
All voting yes, motion carries.
Thank you. I'll open the public hearing for 13B. Is there anyone here wanting to speak regarding 13B? Please come forward. Anyone wanting to speak regarding 13B? Seeing nobody, I will close the public hearing and I will take a motion to approve. Councilwoman Welch.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I make a motion that we approve ordinance number 4180.
Second.
Motion by Welch, second by Collins. Any comments or questions? Please vote.
All voting yes, motion carries.
Thank you. Item 14, public hearing on matters other than ordinances. We have none this evening. Item 15, we have no resolutions. Item 16, current business. 16A, recommend approval of the Douglas Sarpy Mutual Aid Interlocal Agreement and authorize mayor to sign. Do I have a motion? Councilwoman Collins.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Sorry. Collins.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the mutual aid agreement with Sarpy. Recommend the approval of the Douglas Sarpy Mutual Aid Interlocal Agreement and authorize the mayor to sign.
I'll second that.
Motion by Collins, second by Welch. Any comments or questions? Please vote.
All voting yes, motion carries.
Thank you. Item 16B, approve and authorize the mayor to sign the notice of award and contract with Crow Lawn Care LLC for parks mowing in an amount not to exceed $35,078.40. Do I have a motion? Councilwoman Welch.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I make a motion to approve item 16B.
Second.
Motion by Welch, second by McCaw. Any comments or questions? Please vote.
All voting yes, motion carries.
Thank you. Item 16C, approve and authorize the mayor to sign the notice of award and contract with Crowlawn Care LLC for right-of-way mowing in an amount not to exceed $123,192. Do I have a motion? Councilman Preister?
Thank you, Mayor. I'll move to approve. My screen moved. 16C in the amount you just read.
Second.
Motion by Preister, second by McCaw. Any comments or questions? Please vote.
All voting yes, motion carries.
Thank you. Item 16D, approved purchase of 2 mini-body axle dump trucks with plows and hydraulics from Cornhusker International Trucks for street department in an amount not to exceed $521,600 and authorize the mayor to sign. Do I have a motion? Councilman Preister?
Thank you, Mayor. I'll move to approve item 16D in the dollar amount you just read.
Second.
Motion by Preister, second by Casey. Any comments or questions? Please vote.
All voting yes, motion carries.
Thank you. Item 16E, approved purchase of an aerial lift truck from Aspen Equipment in an amount not to exceed $205,340 and authorize the mayor to sign. Do I have a motion? Councilman Preister?
Thank you, Mayor. I'll move to approve item 16E.
Second.
Motion by Preister, second by McCaw. Any comments or questions? Please vote.
All voting yes, motion carries.
Thank you. Item 16F, approve and authorize the mayor to sign an agreement with HGM Associates for Aspen Pool demolition in an amount not to exceed $11,975. Do I have a motion? Councilman Preister?
Thank you, Mayor. I'll move to approve item 16F.
Second.
By Preister, second by McCaw. Any comments or questions? Please vote.
All voting yes, motion carries.
Thank you. Item 16G, approve and authorize the mayor to sign the agreement with HGM Associates for the resurfacing of the library parking lot in an amount not to exceed $32,155. Do I have a motion? Councilwoman Welch?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll make a motion to approve item 16G.
Second.
Motion by Welch, second by Collins. Any comments or questions? Please vote.
Mr. Casey?
All voting yes, motion carries.
Thank you. Item 16H, approve and authorize the mayor to sign the notice of award and agreement with SAK Construction for the Old Town Cured-in Place Pipe Rehabilitation Package in an amount not to exceed $822,795. Do I have a motion? Councilman Preister?
Thank you, Mayor. I'll move to approve item 16H in the dollar amount you read.
Second.
Motion by Preister, second by McCaw. Any comments or questions? Please vote.
All voting yes, motion carries.
Thank you. Item 16I, approve and authorize the mayor to sign the Entertainment District Master Agreement Work Order Number 3 with Olson in an amount not to exceed $93,550. Do I have a motion? Councilwoman Welch?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll make a motion to approve item 16I.
Motion by Welch, second by Collins. Any comments or questions? Please vote.
All voting yes, motion carries.
Thank you. Item 16J, approve and authorize the mayor to sign the Nebraska Environmental Trust Grant Contract for $300,000 for the Whitted Creek Rehabilitation Project, 25th Street and Linwood to Blackhawk. Do I have a motion? Councilwoman Welch.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Make a motion to approve item 16J.
Second.
Motion by Welch, second by Preister. Any comments or questions? Please vote.
All voting yes, motion carries.
Thank you. Item 16K, recommendation to approve the additional services requested by Holland Basham Associates to complete the design for the Bellevue Bay Indoor Water Park in an amount not to exceed $148,790. Do I have a motion? Councilman Casey.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll make a motion to approve item 16K.
Motion by Casey, seconded by Collins. Any comments or questions? Please vote.
All voting yes, motion carries.
Thank you. Item 17, administration reports. Comments must be limited to items on the current reports. February report is attached. Is there any questions on that? Okay, we'll file those. There is no closed session. I'll take a motion to adjourn. Councilman Preister.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll move to adjourn for the meeting.
I'll second that.
Motion by Preister, seconded by Welch. Please vote.
All voting yes, motion carries.